Hello, my name is Raymond Karczewski. I am a living Christ. Let me express to you what a Christ is. Most of you are under the thrall of mind control, religious mind control, if you happen to be a Christian living in this Western society. You have been raised from birth, most of you who are Christians, to respond to the conditioning that has been given to you by your parents, who were conditioned by their parents, all the way down to the beginning of the family. The mindset of the family, in its Christian origin, has been handed down generation to generation until it has reached you. And you have accepted it unquestioningly. At least most of you have. Because you have been also conditioned to conform, to get along, to move along, to not make waves, to not question, to not think for yourselves. That's the simplicity of Satanic Mind Control. And damn near every one of you is subject to that conditioning. You have not questioned it. You have just believed. And you get upset when the moment of truth is presented to you, and its energy, its holistic energy, reflects that partial, conditioned energy of belief back to you, and you then first come to understand the limitations of such beliefs that you hold to be truth. No belief is true. It may have some truth in it, but it is just a reflection of that truth. For you see, truth is holistic. By holistic I mean it is non-dualistic. It is whole, complete in itself. That is the realm of God. That is the realm of the human subconscious mind, which is the realm of God, which most people, living, breathing, flesh and blood people, have given up in return for living in the dualistic, the satanically ruled, dualistic, oppositional realm of intellect. That's hell. You're born into hell. Shortly after you come out of the womb, you are being indoctrinated to go along, to get along in the fires of hell. You're promised relief, peace, comfort, but you never quite achieve that, do you? For your mind, your intellect, your dualistic, computer-like realm of consciousness can never be free, for it is partial in nature and divided in itself and oppositional in nature. All of those factors make up a confused mind, a mind that is made to doubt itself and will do anything to achieve some sort of clarity, including selling their souls to the satanic entity which has seduced them out of their wholeness, which has made them doubt themselves, and therefore have destroyed their oneness with God, with totality, with truth. The simple man of truth of his time, Jesus of Nazareth, summed it up quite simply and succinctly when he said, "I am the truth, life, and the way." What he was saying is that when one transcends the horrific, confused, oppositional, dualistic intellect and all its hell-bound activities, which we call civilized society, one comes to a point of silence, a point of nothingness. In that nothingness lies the realm of God, for only in the nothingness can infiniteness be found. The subconscious mind has no barriers, is not time-bound, does not have any beginning or end. No yesterday, today, or tomorrow. It only operates now. And one is either aware of that moment, that eternal moment, or they are not. They are lost in the satanic after moment of thought, memory-based, the point of conditioned intelligence, where we live our life according to dead ideas, graven images of truth. When the moment of now is over, in the essence of the time-bound, satanic-ruled intellect, one can only live in the after moment, a memory-based database of habitual ideas that are traumatically imposed upon the entity. That's his memory. That's his ego. That's the false sense of I that most people have no awareness of. They merely react to the stimuli that calls for action by such traumatized intellect. That is the essence of a mind-controlled subject, an object that is made to believe itself to be subjective to outer conditioning, and therefore accept the bondage of slavery to the orders of some outside source that dictates what such behavior must be, and if such behavior is not forthcoming, that entity is punished. Are we not talking about civilized society here? Government and religion, for these two institutions that are thought up by man's intellect, and therefore are fictional entities. They're not alive. They are not true. Yet millions of you have been made to believe they're true, and therefore you are easily controllable by those who condition your mind, who tell you what to do, when to do, how to do it, usually for the purpose of serving those who keep you in bondage, the institutions, the corporations, who regard you as human resources. You are not human resources. You are men and women, living, breathing, flesh and blood, sentient, natural men and women. You are not slaves, unless you believe yourself to be. And unfortunately, that is where most of you choose to live your lives. To live truth is the simplest of activities. It's to be what is, and not in any way, shape, or form attempt to convert that truth into an idea which is superior, that has supernatural qualities to it, the highs, the lows, the master, the slaves, the bully, the victim. Yes, we all must go through that stage, for that's what this life on earth is all about. To understand that we have been living under the thrall of gnosis, which has caused a massive amnesia of who you truly are, and thus you are lost. You are a lost sheep in search of a shepherd. And that theme has been used quite well to keep you into servitude. Now, I have been writing and speaking on this issue of truth and Christhood for the last 19 years on the internet. And the powers of hell have been used to its fullest complement to destroy the reputation, the credibility, the character of this Christ. You have been trained to believe there was only one Christ. That's an idea. And you are more comfortable with feeling that you have some control over your ideas than when you come face to face with an actual living man who says otherwise, who says that you, each of you, are Christ's, but you doubt yourself. You're caught in that mind control milieu of hell, of duality and opposition, of constant conflict, which has resulted in the exploitation, the transference of wealth from those who have not to the haves, the power base to the court system, the government, the judges, the police agency. All these institutions of government and of religion are all fictions. They exist only through your own personal belief. They have no truth in and of themselves. That is the first point that each of you must come to. Most of you are quite angry and resentful and in opposition to these simple words. Why? If the word were not true, it wouldn't have any effect upon you. However, if you become upset, what is happening is the truth of these words cannot be quieted by the belief, the fantasy, the belief that you have, that you believe to be true. You see, truth is whole, while belief can never be whole, and therefore the truth stands as a mirror when it reflects anything that pretends to be whole. But that pretension is soon unmasked and traumatizes those who hide behind their own masks of pretension. Their feelings are hurt. They are perpetually doubting themselves. They know nothing other than doubt, while they pretend to be knowledgeable of everything. Yet any belief system has limitations, and soon finds itself in opposition to another belief system of different proportions, of different content. That's what hell's all about. The pain, the suffering, the uncertainty, the loss of control, the fear, the angst. All these things operate daily in your consciousness. You go to church once, twice, 3 times a week, hoping that some ceremonial display of a man dressed in ceremonial garbs stands in a pulpit, and his words are supposed to have a different meaning, a different content. When you believe that and you listen openly, you are being hypnotized by that ceremonial garbed individual who calls himself a priest, a minister, and such. That is the beginning of insanity, and you all hold that in high regard. Now recently, I have had some experience with the alternate media on talk shows, and I have been barred from the talk show host, Alex Jones, merely by my mentioning that I was the living Christ. At that moment, on air, he directed his producer to cut me off and to never call his show again, because his guest has asked him if he knew who I was, and Jones acceded that he did, and that his actions were based on actions that he insinuated that I have done, and he would not allow me to speak. That was the first time. That recording is on my website, arkenterprises.com, and you may hear it. What Jones was experiencing was what happens when a bully, a loudmouth, aggressive, pretentious bully who can make people doubt themselves merely by his aggression and cause them to support him. He's nothing but a rabble-rouser, inciting people to violence, inciting people to the dualistic threat with counter-threat, counteraction, counter-aggression. There's no peace in that man. The man is a hypocrite, plain and simple. Recently, last week as a matter of fact, on John Stadtmiller's show on Republic Broadcasting Network, I stopped the show merely by speaking a simple truth. Now, John, in my view, is a good man. I have no problem with John. He's trying to understand that which eludes him at the present time, and he's not prepared to go beyond his lifelong accumulation of knowledge, which in itself is limited, and John can't go beyond that. That's what caused John to lose his temper. And he does have a temper. But he's a very charming man, and that charm covers up that temper. But it does not take long for truth to expose that dichotomy. You may listen to that record on my website, arkenterprises.com, in my YouTube video section, and you may see for yourself the power of truth, the power of what is spoken by a non-dualistic Christ to a dualistic programmed intellect. For that is all that happened on that program. I have no animosity, no judgment, says John. I merely spoke the truth. And the devil took the hindmost. Now, if you understand what I have just said here, and observe for yourself the power of speaking truth in a society that requires that you live in deception and deceit and control and manipulation, then you too shall return to your rightful state of Christ consciousness, of truth, of love, of peace. As far as how you regard what I have just said, I have spoken the simple truth. The four winds. I have no axe to grind. I have no following. I do not require a following, for I am peace personified. And I wish to share that peace with all who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Thank you for your time. I think I've gone far enough. And I ask that you watch this and listen to it quietly, and observe the ideas, the thoughts, the reactions that arise in you to what I have said. For if you do that, you will meet your true teacher. You will meet your true Savior. It is all in you. You don't have to go outside looking for a Savior. I'm not your Savior. I am merely truth. You are merely truth, but you doubt it. When you come to understand that simple machination in consciousness, you shall rise from hell and be reborn of the Spirit of divine intelligence. Is that something that you wish, you desire, you want? It's up to you. Take it or leave it.